Hey Super Cruisers, it's Frank from Cruising with Wheels. Welcome to today's bit of trivia. Find out all the crazy and weird things that maybe you didn't know in this episode of Did You Know That? Well, sports lovers, you're in luck because today it's all about sports trivia. That's right. Are you ready? Did you know that some runners remove their toenails to boost their performance? Yeah, runners who don't want to contend with constantly bruised, ingrown, and lost toenails sometimes have them removed permanently. Ultra-marathoners have their battered toenails surgically removed. For good forever. Toenail removal is not for the faint of heart, but it can be a big relief for people who compete in 50 to 100 mile races. That's dedication. Did you know that the Olympics stopped using actual gold medals after 1912? It's true. Olympic gold medals have some gold in them, but they're mostly made of silver. Now, according to the International Olympic Committee, gold and silver medals must be at least 92.5% silver. The gold in the gold medals is in the planting on the outside and must consist of at least 6 grams of pure gold. And you thought you could hawk it for a fortune. Did you know that many golfers in Japan carry hole-in-one insurance? I never heard of such a thing, but apparently it's a tradition in Japan to share one's good luck by sending gifts to all your friends when you get an ace. Now, that's why many Japanese golfers carry hole-in-one insurance, also known as albatross. That's funny. Now, these gifts can reach up to $10,000. So, of 4 million Japanese golfers, 30% of all amateurs have some sort of hole-in-one insurance. I hope they have the same tradition when it comes to their home and life insurance. Did you know that Major League Baseball umpires are required to wear black underwear while on the job? I didn't know that. I thought they could wear what they want. Well, in baseball, umpires are required to wear protective gear on top of their official umpire uniform. But what many sports fans might not know is that they also have to wear black underwear. Why, you ask? Is it a fashion statement? No, it is not. In case their pants split open. Now, you know that umpires spend most, part of the baseball game squatting, also arguing, but a lot of squatting, okay? So there's a high chance that their pants at some point may rip apart. And this way, they can be sure no one will get distracted in case of a wardrobe malfunction on their little tidy whities. Did you know that between 2 and 3 horse jockeys are killed every year? Yeah, the average jockey actually gets sidelined by injuries about 3 times a year. On top of that, between 2 and 3 jockeys are killed while competing each year. Now, to put that into perspective, that's the total amount of baseball players that have passed away while playing during the entire history of baseball dating back to 1846. So, jockeys, boom, 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 dead. That's a dangerous sport. And those horses looked adorable. Who knew? And speaking of baseball, did you know that Babe Ruth would wear a chilled cabbage leaf under his cap to keep him cool while he was playing outfield? He used a cabbage leaf that had been chilled over the icebox to keep him cool while playing in the outfield. Now, keep in mind that Babe Ruth's career, during that time, that period, there were no night games at all. Okay, and baseball uniforms were made of wool. He surely needed something to keep him cool during those hot summer afternoons. Can you imagine Babe Ruth fainting? Now that would have made headlines. Did you know that each step a person runs consumes movement from 200 muscles? Yeah, every time a person takes a step, 200 muscles work to lift their foot, propel it forward, and set it down. The process of running uphill or downhill is also quite similar when it comes to muscle movement. However, runners might have to make a point to align the torso over their pelvis, given that they are working their muscles differently. Now that's a huge muscle workout. Did you know that lacrosse is the oldest organized sport in America? It's true. Lacrosse is the oldest team sport in North America. It was mostly played around the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, and American South areas by various native communities. Because in 1636, a Jesuit missionary observed a group of natives playing the game, which they actually called Bagataway. But in the eyes of the Jesuit missionary, the curved stick the natives were holding resembled a bishop's crosier, or lacrosse in French, from which the sport eventually took its name. Those French, they're always thinking and on top of stuff. Did you know that a 100-year-old man became the oldest person to run a 100-yard dash? It's true. Born in 1868, Larry Lewis was a long-distance running centenarian who ran 6 miles through the Golden Gate Park every day of his life. And at the age of 101, he became the oldest person to run a 100-yard dash in 17.8 seconds, setting the world record at 101 for runners over 100 years old. How many of them could there be? Did you know that in the olden days, the treadmill was used as a punishment device? Called a penal treadmill. It was a treadmill with steps set into 2 cast iron wheels, and they drove a shaft that could be used to mill corn or pump water using prisoners as human power. In the early Victorian era, penal treadmills were used in prisons as a method of exerting hard labor, a form of punishment prescribed in the prison's sentence. I will testify that the treadmill was indeed a torture. I experienced it almost every day of my life when I went to the gym. Did you know that more than 50% of all Americans don't know how to swim? A survey conducted by the Red Cross found that more than half of all Americans, 54% to be exact, either can't swim or don't have all the basic swimming skills needed. And yes, YouTube world, I am part of the 54%. We didn't have a swimming pool in the high school that my sister and I attended, plus the fact that my mother was deathly afraid of water, so no encouragement there. It just didn't happen. Did you know that in ancient Greece, Olympic athletes used to compete naked? Yes, naked, nude, au natural. That's right. The tradition to compete naked during the Olympic Games in ancient Greece was started by a runner called Orsippus. Now, at the time, competing nude was considered to be a tribute to the gods. And it was also a sign of fearlessness, power, and most importantly, courage. Whatever the reason, folks, I wholeheartedly support this tradition. I want to thank you all for joining me today for a little bit of trivia, especially Sports Day. And on behalf of Kevin and myself from Cruising with Wheels, don't just watch our videos. Become a regular Cruising with Wheels family member by taking 2 seconds and clicking that subscribe button. Also, click the little bell next to it. You'll get automatic notifications of when our videos go live and when we go live during our live streams every other Sunday. And don't forget that we're also on all the other social media platforms. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. So remember to always travel safe and cruise often.